Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, a DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Chris. How are you today, Chris?
I am doing fantastically. I'm not taking the Penguins' advice. I'm not taking it easy, sweetheart.
I am taking this episode's advice and blasting 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton nonstop afterwards. But yes, we are talking After Hours, the Penguin episode 1, directed by Craig Zobel, written by Lauren LeFranc, and airing September 19th, 2024 on Max and HBO. This show is going to be moving to Sundays. Sunday on the 29th of September. So a 9-day gap between episodes instead of the standard 7. But I guess they wanted to have more of that build up so people could watch it throughout the whole weekend and get the word of mouth going. So that's what they did.
Yeah, I was actually
Fine by
disappointed
me.
with that because, I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait for Thursday." And I was like, "Oh, it's not."
Oh, I'm very thankful it's not Thursday because Thursday I have Frasier, the reboot, and I have Rings of Power releasing on Thursdays. So I've been slammed on Thursdays.
Well, it's actually helpful for me too because I have my class on Thursdays. We usually record Capes and Animation after that, and of course Thursday night football. But so it does help. But I was looking forward to watching it Friday on Max,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that I was like, damn. So, well, yeah, but the fact that we're looking forward to the next episode is a really good sign, I would say.
Actually, we both hated this show. I'm just kidding. We're talking. This is a spinoff, of course, of the Batman. If you couldn't tell by the title, the Penguin. Um, and Lauren LeFranc is the one that created the show, and she also wrote this episode. So this is set a week after the events of the movie. They do a little catch up at the beginning to get you caught up in case you never saw the Batman, um, on what's happened. And this show then just immediately launches into it. I was actually very shocked in the first, I don't know, 5 minutes when let's talk about the big thing first here, right? This kicks off all the events of the show. Oswald Cobblepot, I'm gonna say it. He's not Cobb here. Oswald Cobblepot shoots Alberto.
That was shooting Alberto Falcone. It was a great character moment because it was like he laughed at him, didn't take him seriously. He was
Yeah.
waxing poetically. Had a great speech. Just, can you imagine to be remembered like that? And then Alberto's like, "Holy shit, that's what you want. That's what you. That's so pathetic." And he's laughing at him. And
Bang.
man,
I was
but
shocked.
I could not believe it. But the thing I loved most about this episode, well, maybe not most, but he laughs. And then after he's done laughing and feeling good about himself, oh shit. Oh
Yeah.
no.
He was the penguin that laughs at that point.
The penguin
Um,
laughs.
so let's talk about Alberto and just kind of say why it's shocking. Let's say, Chris, that let's say you're somebody that has never read a comic book. What is the importance of Alberto Falcone?
Well, he's one of the people who goes down as the holiday killer.
Yeah,
And
spoiler alert for the Long Halloween, um, the one of the greatest comic books of all time,
I'm sorry,
right?
it is the greatest comic book of all time.
I'm being charitable here, okay? I
Okay.
gotta say one of. Um, he is one of the holiday killers. Not in this universe. That's not going to happen here. We are going to be introduced to his sister, right? That will keep some of her backstory in this. But
I was so happy about that.
before we do, um, yeah, Alberto Falcone is the child of Carmine Falcone, and first appearance in Batman: The Long Halloween #1, which was October 1996, created by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. He's not like a big comic book character really other than that. That's like his main story is that and Dark Victory. Um, but yeah, just a fun little nod here to that. And he's appeared in the Long Halloween cartoon, voiced by Jack Quaid, who is our Superman and My Adventures with Superman. So there's some connections here to other stuff that we've talked about. So I just thought that was cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it is
yeah,
really cool. I loved everything about everything. It was so fun. I could not believe how gripped I was to the TV. Like a lot of times when I watch TV, I enjoy it. That was like, oh, that was good. I was like, this is this is interesting. I was like, I am hooked, and it kept twisting. Mm, good writing.
yeah, you're right though. Like as soon as he kills Alberto, he's having a good time. Then he's like, shit. Like now I have to dispose of this body. Um, so I think some people have been giving Oz a little too much credit. I've heard some people say that they think he planned a lot of this before he shoots him.
Oh,
And
please.
no, he's going by the seat of his plans in most of this episode, which I think is great. He's improvising, but he does it very well.
So I think there are concrete things he had planned at a certain point. When we get to the end of the episode, I think a lot of that was very genius. I tend to believe that that was a spur of the moment shooting and a
Yeah.
spur of the moment cleanup, especially because he talks himself into trouble with Sophia Falcone by saying things he could only know by talking to Alberto on that
Yes.
evening. So um it's that wasn't smart. So it's not like he's a genius. I think this is a guy who is a master bullshitter. I think he's really good at that.
Yeah, and what Johnny Vitti is in this as well. He's the one that tells them we're going to shut all this down. He's also one of the people that is a victim of the holiday killer in the Long Halloween. So
Yep.
he's bypassed that fate in this so far. But let's talk about Sophia because I think she is actually the standout of the whole show. Right? We already knew what Colin Farrell could do. He did
Those
it in the
eyes are
Batman.
horrifying. Like she's playing crazy, and she's
Are
got
you
this big.
familiar with her?
She's the mother in How I Met Your Mother. I've seen her
Yes,
in a couple other things. She's a great actress.
she
Um,
is. Yeah.
but her eyes are so huge, and she plays the crazy up to such a perfect level. Like it is intimidating. Like I know eyes freak. I'm weird. Eyes kind of freak me out, but I'm like, she's gonna screw Oz up here. Like she is just waiting for the opportunity, and I love the shift, the paradigm shift with her, where she's all nice and then she's psychotic. It's so he really keeps you on edge because you never know what you're going to get from her. That was pretty evident in this episode.
Yes. So Sophia Falcone premiered in the Long Halloween issue 6, which was May of 1997. Again, created by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, this character. And she's mostly known for, I think, Dark Victory, right? Because for
Hmm.
spoilers, just in case if people are worried, this is what I do on my Marvel podcast too. I like to give people character backgrounds. So if you don't want to know this stuff because you haven't read the book, what are you doing? Go read the book. But also, we're going to spoil some stuff when it comes to the source material. And in the Dark Victory, she is known as the Hangman, right? She becomes the Hangman Killer, and they reference that in this. Like that's why she was in prison.
Yeah, that's the consequences of long victory. That she's making a point, and she's an intimidating character in this. when you should see my face. You should see my face. The recovered or the rehabilitated hangman killer. I was like, they gave it to me. Yes, I was so happy. I don't know why it makes me so happy, but I really like Dark Victory. Tim Sale is my Jeff Loeb. That's my stuff.
Yeah, so she was like you said, in How I Met Your Mother as the mother. Spoiler for that too, I guess. Um
I just ruined a whole like 10 season show.
she 9, but she's look, she's one of the best parts of those later seasons, and they really botched that finale, and not because of her.
They did.
She's great in it, and she's really great in this too. And you know what else? She's also in Fargo, season 2, and she was great in Fargo as well. Like she was really good in that show. She's been great in like everything I've ever seen her in. I know some people know her from the Black Mirror episode USS Callister. I haven't seen that, but she's going to be in a sequel to that as well in a new Black Mirror season. And she was in the movie Palm Springs with Andy Samberg, which I haven't seen, but the trailer looks so great. I want to watch it. But yeah,
Well,
so she's been great in a bunch of stuff.
and give her credit. She was in 30 Rock as well.
She's in 30 Rock?
Yes. She's wearing like a blonde wig in the show.
Oh,
Um,
in season 5. I see that.
yeah, so yeah, I was like it's funny because I'm looking through her credits and I go, wait a second, she was in 30 Rock? And she was in 30 Rock. So that one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, you know what? She's really great in Mythic Quest too. The Apple TV show. She was
Yeah,
great
I
in
don't
that.
have the Apple. I need to get Apple, I think. I just pay for enough entertainment.
But yeah, she's the standout of the whole show. Kristen Milioti.
She was
She's great.
fantastic in this. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, Colin Farrell is having the performance of his life, and the first review for his big show, she stole the show.
Yeah, yeah, and you know he's great in this too. And I referenced it earlier, but apparently they shortened his name to Oswald Cobb. I keep wanting to say Cobblepot. It's ingrained.
Well,
It's ingrained.
it's his freaking name. Okay, it's
Yeah,
his.
look, this is what I will say. This is silly. This is silly. Now, does it ruin my enjoyment of the show? No, the show's freaking great. But Cobblepot, does it sound silly? I don't know. To me, it just is his name now that I don't think that even sounds like silly. You know, like I just think that, like you said, that's his name. Um, it's it's weird to kind of be like, oh, we don't want to be too fantastical. It's not like that. That's not really part of it. I don't know. I don't. I'm fine if Reeves doesn't want to do like fantastical stuff. Totally cool with that. It's these type of changes that I'm like, what? Why? Does it really affect anything? No. Um, I'd be fine if they reveal that like this is just what they've shortened it to in the mob. You know, like they don't want to call him Cobblepot, so they nicknamed him Oz Cobb because it's easier. I'll be fine with that. But I think if it's like what his actual name is, that's a little weird. But I'll get over it. It's just one of those changes that didn't have to be made. It's a Batman thing. I mean, come on.
Changing that.
We know it's Batman.
I,
Like, relax.
it, I'm just like so ready for someone who doesn't know anything about the show to come up to me and go, so did they change the penguin's name? And that's the one thing they're thinking. Like it's just so dumb.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm fine with him not having the top hat and all that. I don't like that's fine. The monocle, I don't care. It's just weird to change the name.
By the way, the other thing I know, Christy Milioti from The Wolf of Wall Street. She was in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yes, I haven't seen that, but I did see it on her credits.
I mean, it's not the biggest role in the world, but yeah.
So with this, right, the big story is what Alberto was working on was a new type of drug that would be stronger, more addictive than the drops, right? And the drops were the big thing in the Batman. People don't remember. They had like the drop logo, looked like a scarecrow head almost at times. You know, that was the big thing, and he's talking about this new drug he's working on. And like you said, when he's talking to Johnny Vitti, he mentions, "Oh, I got this new thing coming in that can work." But Sophia overhears this, and she knows it was her and her brother's secret. So either Oswald is dumb enough to mention this, or two, like, you know that he's not going to come back anyway, right? So that he's dead. So she's concerned then that her brother is dead, and that. But Oswald tries to spin it, right? He's like, "Well, didn't he tell you I was kind of handling this way?" Like he tries to play it off. I don't think it works at all until, um, he is able to pin it on Sal Maroni, and that's kind of where he gets this idea after he visits his mother, and she's watching the movie and on the TV, right? And it's I forget what the movie was, but it talks about blaming it on something, and I think that's where his gears are turning,
And
and he
Victor was like,
realizes,
blame it on who? And the penguin
right,
goes, it doesn't matter.
he's got the ring that Alberto had. So in that Alberto talk, Alberto shows him the ring. It was his father's, but it actually came from Sal Maroni first. So, Oswald's already gone and shown Sal Maroni the ring. And, hey, I can be a double agent. I can be a soldier for you in the inside. And that's what his goal is to try to get the best of both worlds here, right? He's making his play for owning the city, right? But in order to do that, I don't know how far he's thought this through, but in order to do that, he does need these two sides to pretty much take each other out. And one of them, pinning it on the other one. Because two, Sal Maroni, is he going to deny taking out Alberto? No, that makes him look weak, right? If he comes out and actually says, "No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it," he wants to get his mojo back. So he's going to be like, "Yeah, I did it, or I orchestrated it." Like, he's going to own that. And that's why Oz is able to do this move, is because he knows that Maroni's not going to like turn him in, really, because also he now knows it's giving him a boost in his reputation, but also he thinks that he has Oswald as a double agent there. But I really think Oz is out for himself, and that's how it's going to play out throughout the show.
Yeah. I mean, I think you said that perfectly. I think Oz is, when he talks to his mother, is starting to believe it. Like, I feel like the plan's starting to come together. I like how you said it. This plan's starting to come together when he talks to his mom, and she kind of gives him this weird sadistic pep talk. Take over the city. This is your moment. Um, yeah, I think that was the turning point of the episode. One of the things I really liked was the plum car. It's just
Yeah.
so in his personality. And then I love how um I love how she's like, it's really easy to find. It sticks out, you know. We know where you've been. Uh
Yeah, so like you said, it fits his style, but it also is almost the undoing of him because, you know, we haven't really talked about Victor yet, but Victor is a guy and his friends that were trying to steal rims off of the car, right? And
Holy Jason Todd Batman.
yeah, and he gets caught and has to hang around, and he pretty much makes him be his right-hand man at this point. But he shot at the kids, right? And
Mhm.
I think Sophia even asked about the bullet holes, and he mentioned about how a few days back it happened. Then she's able to piece together it was actually outside the Iceberg Lounge and had another witness. And it really put Oswald in a tough spot here because his car is so noticeable, right? If it was like the same, like a black Accord that a lot of people had, it wouldn't be, a big thing. But nobody really forgets the plum Maserati, right? So uh, that becomes a problem for her and for him. And man, how ruthless she is when Oz is like, no, that kid's lying. And before he can even clarify, she
Boom.
shoots him right in his face. Brutal.
Well, it shows me how cold and detached she is. Like she
Mhm.
is ruthless. She'll get whatever she wants. You're talking about the female version almost of what Cobblepot is. The person who will do whatever they have to get what they want. And I really love that scene though because it had a bit of I don't want to give Penguin too much credit, but it had a bit of Daniel Craig in Casino Royale when he's laughing, you know,
Mhm.
he's getting whipped and the balls, and he starts laughing and he says, "Now the whole world will know you died scratching my balls." That energy was what Oz had in this scene. I like like he doesn't seem like a very tough, strong, put together man, but if you deal with the gout thing, you saw his foot, you see some of the things he's had to go through. He's a tough son of a gun, and he hung in there to the very last second. And I thought that was very admirable. Um, I, I don't want to crime boss admirable. I don't want to, but yeah, like he's definitely the protagonist in his own show. I mean that's fair to say.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely the protagonist. I'm actually, you know, uh, he is the main focus point of this show in the sense of like we barely leave his point of view. I don't think we do at all. I think we
It's
follow him throughout the whole thing.
it's basically like what we do with the Batman in the Batman, where
Yes. Yep.
the Batman is in almost every scene, or Bruce's perspective is in every scene, even to the point where in the Batman, when it's a Selena Kyle scene, you're seeing it through like the
Yes. Through
lenses.
him. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I love this focus, and not that this is a news episode, but I like where Matt Reeves basically said the Batman Part Two. We really want to keep it about him. We keep it through his
Yes.
journey, and you can see these projects are going to have a consistent vibe, a consistent style, and I think the style that they borrowed from Matt Reeves, the Batman, really works on an HBO quality TV show. It's beautiful.
And that's why, like, I'm fine if he doesn't show up in this, the Batman, right? Like, I've seen some people be like, "Well, where's Batman in this?" And I've seen other people say like the same thing I'm about to say. Nothing's been done to would grab Batman's attention right now. I'm sorry, nothing right now would be grabbing Batman's attention
He's in the element.
because
He's picking his
he,
targets.
yeah, but he also probably wouldn't know about the Alberto stuff yet. Nobody knows Alberto's dead, right? Like, I mean, it's not until the very end when Victor drives the car and then it has the payback in there and the finger cut off and all that anybody knows that Alberto's actually dead. So at that point, it's like, what would Batman be doing? Nothing, right? Like he's probably handling other stuff with the flood and other. We've heard in the news reports at the beginning that it was a lot of looting and stuff. I think that like he's probably handling other stuff because right now I don't think there's anything that Penguin has done or anybody has done that'd be enough to get his attention. Now, does that change? Maybe, right? It's going to be, I would assume, a war, a gang war, but maybe it won't be as out in the open enough that Bruce is going to have to swoop in and like do anything about it. And I like because, like we said, this is being the focus on Penguin, and the fact is, he's probably going to be in almost every scene. I just don't know if Batman fits in that show. And I also know some people will say, well, he also wouldn't tell us if he's in the show because he doesn't want to spoil it.
The Batman would take the show over, and it would be the Batman. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's where I'm kind of at with it.
It
Yeah.
like the character work that they're doing has nothing to do with the Batman. And um, you know,
It's about Oswald's rise
mhm.
to
I,
own Gotham.
I thought it was very interesting that Vincent was such a captivating character because he's kind of in this position where, oh crap, I have to do what the Penguin says, or
You mean Victor?
Did I say the wrong name?
You said Vincent.
Motherfucker. Um, but Victor, um, yeah, he's in this really weird spot, but he starts to like it. He starts to get along with the Penguin. He starts to
They have the
choose it.
slushies. Yeah.
Yeah, he starts to choose it, and he pulls through at the end for this. He even gets to a moment where you know the Penguin's like almost saying, "Hey, I know you can do it." That there's a weird relationship going there, but I think it's very interesting that they stole the Jason Todd origin story for this relevant, rele- no name character.
Yeah. I mean, what I think is, I wouldn't say stole it. What I would say is like this might be an intentional parallel. Um, Not in the sense that we have Jason Todd in the
Hmm.
Batman, but like kind of showing like if you are familiar with the Jason Todd story and that showing the differences between how Batman handles that and how like somebody like the Penguin handles that and how it will have like this effect on our lives. I wouldn't be shocked if like Victor is a casualty in the show at some
I
point.
almost expect him to.
And that like just shows like, because of him maybe stealing the wrong rims, right? Like if he was stealing the Batmobiles, maybe it ends differently. Like I could see it being like a parallel in that situation.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I think what the show does with the Batman lore, though, is if you know it, you enjoy it. If you don't know it, it doesn't make a damn difference to you. Like this is just a mob show at that point, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think I I sent an article in the group chat where I was like, oh, there's no Easter eggs. There's plenty of Easter eggs. We've talked about them already. We've talked about the Batman stuff in the Penguin. But what I really want to say here is that this show is accessible to pretty much any audience, whether you like the Batman or not, which is kind of the point of these projects. It's going to get more people into the idea of the Batman. That's a good thing.
And what we've heard too is that like the Batman Part 2 follows this pretty well. Because the Penguin's supposed to appear in the Batman Part 2 as well. Like this is the what they call the epic crime saga, right? And I think that does rule out that we're going to get any sort of. I would even say like probably Mr. Freeze is not going to be it. We're going to be really focused on the Penguin, Falcone, Maroni's,
Mhm.
Joker, Harvey Dent stuff. Maybe Clayface in the Caped
It makes
Crusader
me
sense of Clayface.
it makes me really think
Those type of
Riddler,
characters.
Joker, Penguin are they made a big deal when the Batman came out that you had Catwoman, the original crew. You had Catwoman, you had Penguin,
Penguin, Riddler.
Riddler, and Joker in the same movie, and they made a big deal about it. I think you have your ensemble for the whole trilogy. It's what with some differences. Like, I think there'll be some
Yeah.
additions. Like obviously, you're going to get Harvey Dent's new DA. Um, but I think you've got your main villains already in play.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Harvey Dent's in the second one is like, we're coming in after that. There's a gang war. There was just a big flood. I'm coming in and persecuting, prosecuting, not persecuting, but he's coming in and prosecuting all of these, you know, crime lords. And then maybe the third one he becomes Two-Face. Like I think that's something that could happen, right? And it'd be kind of like some nice
I'm really trying to
building with
figure
all
out where Joker comes in. I would love to see Joker become a big part of the second one. It's going to be so criticized to be trying to copy the Dark Knight, but I'd love the Joker to play a role in the second one more than he did in the
I would
first.
save him for the third. What I would do is I'd have him have another scene or two in the second one again, and then like have that be like the payoff of like the third movie, him getting out and being the Joker. Like that's maybe teaming up with somebody like Two-Face, right? And then you have like those two villains.
Mm.
Uh, that's probably how I would do it. But again, like, I'm not the one actually writing this stuff, and I probably wouldn't do as well of a job anyway. Um,
I think you do a pretty good job, actually. Like, I don't know that it would be without notes from like the studio or whatnot, but I feel like you'd be able to do it.
well,
You're
thank
into
you
this
for
stuff.
thank you for the praise.
Sure.
Um, yeah. Anything else that happened in the actual episode that we didn't get to?
You haven't mixed the flavors? Uh,
Yeah,
that I just you lost that. You
it's
didn't mix the
better.
flavors. It's better, yeah. God, that
It's
there's so
fucking
much
great, or whatever he says.
there's so much personality in this penguin. Like I'm like, damn it, not supposed to like this guy. I kind of
See,
like
I
this
yeah,
guy.
I think he was the scene stealer in the movie, and now
Hmm.
we have Sophia the scene stealer in the show,
Yeah.
which I think is funny. But no, yeah, because he was just making me laugh in the theater, and I think
So
he
much
is somebody that,
español. No español,
yeah,
fellas.
you
It's the
find
worst
yourself
Spanish I ever heard.
you find yourself almost rooting for the guy, even though you probably shouldn't.
And
But
you feel bad for him because Gordon and Bats, they leave him right there
yeah,
stranded.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're gonna give me a ride?
So let's do this. Let's give ratings out of 10 for this episode.
I'm hesitant to give it a 10, but I don't see a reason not to. I'm not gonna arbitrarily say, oh well, I'm not gonna give it a 10. I'll give it a 10. I thought I was at the edge of my seat. There were twists, there were turns. The opening monologue and killing Albert, like it gripped your attention right away.
That's the one from the trailer, and it ends up being
But it played
yeah.
so much better in the show than it did in the trailer, which is why I always tell people don't take trailers too seriously. The lighting was like even like it was more finished and beautiful and in context. Yeah, so it grips you right away. It kept you on the edge of your seat to the end. It gave you things to be invested in. He had so many personality. The little details of the writing, he brings up the air freshener, and you're like, why is he making up such a big thing about this air freshener? Then he uses it as a weapon later. It's just the
Yep,
little
yep.
things I noticed. There were like 3 or 4 things: the slushies, the drinks, mix the flavors. There's these little things that keep coming back, and then you have this poetic, romantic penguin just wants to watch the sunset. Just it's just the writing of this was off the charts. Like it was just so deep, so much character work. I have no notes. Like I'm sure that there will be either an episode that rivals this or is better than this at some point. And I'm sure there will be episodes that do not meet this standard. But this is good of a start as you could have, and I have not heard one negative thing about it. And I heard a lot of people who were not looking forward to this. That's pretty telling to me.
Yeah, I mean, this was a show that, like, I agree. I give this one a 10 out of 10. But this was one that, like, I knew I was going to watch, but I didn't watch a lot of the trailers. I watched one trailer once, I think, and then I was like, hey, I'll see it when it airs. And I wasn't like wasn't something I was like counting down for. Because like I said before, I have so many shows that are on right now. It's kind of gotten a little bit lost. I didn't watch it on Thursday. I actually watched it on Monday night or something. Is when I sat down to watch it, and um, just because I've had so much stuff going on, and it it came out of the gate and had what a really strong, I don't know if you call it a pilot because it didn't go through like the pilot process, but a really strong first episode that I think um makes me look forward to more. And like I was sure it was going to be quality, I was sure it was going to be good. It was just now actually seeing it and being like, yes, because like the Batman is my favorite Batman movie, so it's not even like I was like a downer on it. It's just it wasn't on the top list of things that I was looking forward to this year. And after watching it, that's changing a bit. I have the synopsis for episode 2 here. Supposedly, it says Sophia works to secure her family's strength while Oz attempts to play both the Falcone and Maroni families to his advantage. This is the episode titled Inside Man, and it's premiering September 29th, 2024 on HBO and Max. So, yeah, looks like we're going to start seeing that come to fruition here of him being the inside man, like he mentioned, to Sal Maroni.
He's the pod stirrer. He's that cocky little shit. That's what Penguin is, especially. And I thought of that when they go down the alley looking for him, and he pops the trunk open and he gets out of it.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, how he
That
just
was
like
cool.
jumps out of it. Yeah,
And then
it
you're
doesn't
like,
work.
it doesn't work, but like you had that moment where you think it works, so
Yes,
it worked.
yep.
Like it was like a really good plan, but like I think the way they pulled that off, where like, hey, it worked. Oh my God, he's a genius. Oh no, and they had the thing with the bus. Oh,
Yeah.
that was interesting, man. He's a little lucky in this one. I mean, a couple seconds here, a couple seconds there. Much different ending to this episode.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap us up here on our Penguin talk.
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned on the last episode, but I think we're going to try to do this with Superman and Lois every week. We'll probably just record it in one go since they'll both be airing Sunday and Monday. So that'll actually work out where
Uh-huh.
we'll be able to
Tuesday nights or
watch
whatever.
it record Tuesday or Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
and have the episode discussions for it. But yeah, so that'll be fun.
It'll be a twisted version of World's Finest.
Yeah, we get some Batman stuff and some Superman stuff at the same time. That'll be really, really fun. But yeah, looking forward to more of the show. Looking forward to Superman and Lois when it comes out. But before it does, Joker Folie à Deux will be hitting, and Chris will be hosting our Joker Folie à Deux roundtable wrap up that you will be able to listen to not long after the release of Joker. I'm not sure when you guys will be able to get a chance to record it, but I'm assuming it'll be out before Superman and Lois. But
yeah, the goal is to do it as soon after the premiere as possible.
Okay.
We have some pretty consistent people, so we should be good.
Yeah. So that'll be Chris will be hosting that roundtable wrap up of Joker Folie à Deux, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. But next week we'll be here talking Penguin episode 2, Inside Man, and that'll be the last week where we have just that, because then we will have Superman and Lois and that going on at the same time. And we are going to be busy. But it's great. We're getting really close to the launch of the DCU with Creature Commandos in early December. And then we have Superman in July. So there you go. You can reach us at elseworldsdcfan on all of our social media. So you can reach out to us there. or elseworldsdcfan@gmail.com. You can like and subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps more people find the show. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you next time.